Welcome back to One Voice and Radio and Media. Today we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Jonathan Vaughan, the CEO of Stockport County Football Club. Thank you so much for coming and talking to us today. Firstly, tell us a little about yourself.
Thanks for having me. My name's Johnny Vaughan. I'm 42 years old. I've been working with Mark for the past 15-16 years. Moved back, spent 10 years out in Dubai, and moved back in 2019. I'm sort of localish, grew up in Poynton, so sort of know from this neck of the woods, and yeah, pleasure to be here.
Lovely. Right, so who's got the first one there?
Ashcan. Colin, do you want to move the mic a bit towards Ashcan?
What did you at Stockport County?
So my role is Chief Executive, so sort of I oversee the day-to-day running of the football club, so everything from overseeing the business side. From a football side, I'm more focused really on the budgets and how much money we're spending, as opposed to really what players we're bringing in. Obviously we have Simon Wilson, who's the Director of Football, that oversees the main football side of the department, but our role's quite varied really, from setting budgets, from recruitment, solving problems, dealing with problems. So yeah, it's a very varied but enjoyable role.
Lovely. So who's next? Is it Louise?
How did you become the CEO? Did you have a job before? That's
a good question. So Mark Stott, who purchased the club in end of January 2020. I've worked with Mark for a long time, just over 15 years. My job previously was working with Mark in property development. So we'll develop high-rise residential property or luxury student accommodation, and Mark bought the football club and said, do you fancy getting involved? And it was, as I mentioned before, I'd just spent 10 years living out in Dubai, so when I moved back I didn't think I'd be running a football club. Let's put it that way. But yeah, it's been a fun ride so far.
Lovely.
Did we miss out Colin?
I think maybe we did, yeah.
Oh, right, go for yours then, Colin.
What number is it, Harry?
So you're this one here.
Reading the side.
Sorry.
What's it say?
So how long have you been doing your job?
How long have you been doing your job?
Mark purchased a club in Jan 2020, so it's three and a half years really been in the role. It was a interesting first few months. Obviously we purchased the club in Jan 20. COVID started to break out in March 20. The season got cancelled, curtailed. We had to furlough players and staff. We didn't know whether the season was going to be on or off. I'm sure the county fans remember, when they froze the season, we were in actually a playoff place. But then they decided to do it on a points per game basis, so they rejigged so we thought we could get in the playoffs. We actually tried to posture with the National League, saying we'd take them to court if they changed, but we didn't win that battle. And then that season ended. They actually did do the playoffs that year, didn't they? But we just missed out basically on a points per game calculation. And then the first full season was without fans. I think that full season from the 2021 season, I think fans just came in. I think it was just the last game of the season actually, and then the playoff game. So it was a strange first period to be involved in running a football club when you were dealing with COVID and there was no fans. I mean, football without fans isn't football, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it was I suppose the only benefit was when COVID was on, you couldn't really go out, and there was probably 15 of us in a stadium on our own watching football. So it was probably the only chance to leave the house at that point. Yeah, it was definitely a interesting and strange time. That everyone had their own COVID experiences, but it was difficult times for everyone, wasn't it?
Yeah. Right, so we've obviously done Louise, so was it Nick?
Do you enjoy your role?
Yeah, very much so. As I mentioned before, you know, very varied. There's a new challenge or problem to overcome each day. I think the nature of my experience, obviously I'm a big football fan, but the business of football we weren't involved with, so there's been a lot of learnings along the way. We've got a really good group, team that we've got in place, not just the football side, but the main operational side that oversee the day-to-day running. So really good team, and I think what I noticed the difference between football and another business, that you're running a business that other people care so much about, and it means so much to the community, you know, to the county fans, but probably just the wider community in general. You know, in a town like Stockport, when one of their sports teams or their football team's doing well, there's a pride about the town, and I think that's been a really sort of interesting part of the role. You know, meeting the fans, meeting the people in and around Stockport, and seeing how much it means to everyone, and it's certainly very rewarding.
Right, and Sarah?
It brings a real good feel-good factor to the town.
Absolutely, I think it really
Because
does.
if you see all the regeneration that's going on with the bus station and the new high-rise apartments, you just feel what a pride that there is in the town itself.
Yeah,
Coming together, isn't it?
Yeah, especially at the moment.
There's a feel-good factor which you can see people smiles on their faces.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
think there's a lot of positivity around the town. You know, it's historically there's been, obviously it's had its boom times way back when, and then there's been its challenges as it sort of adapted and moved from one industry and tried to sort of reinvent itself. But as you say, there's a lot of investment coming into Stockport, but both into the football club, but in general, and it's certainly a different place than you know. I used to come in when I remember when Grand Central first opened. When I was a teenager, and that was sort of the big thing. But you can really see there's a sense of change and movement, and I think that's positive for everyone in and around Stockport.
And county just tying into the feel-good factor.
Absolutely, yeah.
I agree. Right then, Sarah?
When do county start the season?
So our first game of the season is on August the 5th. It just so happens to be my birthday as well. So
Hey.
I'm hoping.
Birthday for that.
Let's hope it's a good birthday.
Yeah, I'm hoping for a win. We've got Gillingham at home. So hopefully, you know, a big crowd and a big, strong start to the season. I think we were talking before. Yeah, hopefully a convincing win. And Gillingham, actually, they've just got a new American owner. Gillingham, so they're spending. They're spending. You saw in the January window, they're spending quite a bit of money. So it's a tough first game, that, but I think it's important that we start the season strong.
About 3 pints or something.
Yeah.
3 points is a must.
Absolutely.
Next is Chris.
What game are you looking forward to the most?
I think there's some really good games this year. I think, again, we were talking just before, it feels like obviously two very strong clubs moved up from the National League. There's big clubs already in League Two who didn't quite manage to make the promotion to League One last year, and then a few big clubs coming down. So I think the fixtures that jump out at me would be the Friday night against Notts Forest. Notts County, sorry. Against Notts County on the 22nd December, so just before Christmas. We've also got Wrexham at home. That's coming up
Tasty that.
in November. Salford, I always,
Salford's always.
I think beating Gary Neville at anything.
Agreed. Well said.
Is always a positive, but I think there's some really big, there's big teams, isn't there, in this division now?
Yeah.
You've got Bradford, Grimsby, there's
MK Dons have come down, haven't they?
MK Dons have come down, so there's some really exciting fixtures, but the ones that jump out at me, Notts County and the fact that it's moved to the Friday night. The first Wrexham at home, and then the last game of the season is Wrexham away. So hopefully that is to celebrate the
No, I'll be
the
doing before
promotion.
Christmas then.
Yeah, exactly.
Ashcan. Let me move it.
That one I do.
Yeah. How do you feel the season went?
How do you feel this season went?
I mean, ultimately it was disappointing at the end, but given the start to the season, the first 6 to 7 games, I think we really struggled to adapt to the. We had a lot of new signings that we were trying to integrate into the team. It was a jump up in league, and I think you could feel the jump up. We probably underestimated the jump up in quality. That I think the top of the National League, the quality was there, but it probably wasn't there throughout the rest of quite a lot of the other teams. Whereas in League Two, I think there's a real consistent quality throughout, and you've got big athletic teams
It's a long season.
that are difficult to break down. So given the start, I think we did. Dave and the boys and Simon did an exceptional job to get us back to challenging for that third spot on the last game of the season, and then ultimately got all the way to Wembley for the disappointment there. But that's football, I suppose, isn't it? We've all rode the highs and lows of our own respective teams, and the lows are painful, even more so when you're running the football club.
Right.
Colin? Yeah.
You need to read out there, Colin.
What was one now?
So you're the one circled, so do you feel disappointed?
Do you feel disappointed?
Not making
Not making
Not cheese.
the play so not achieving promotion in the playoff final.
playoff final?
Yeah, I'd say to lose at Wembley is probably the worst place to lose, isn't it? Because
It's not nice.
you've got
It's not nice.
you said you went that, obviously the occasion for the day. At Stockport over the years have had a number of Wembley outings. I think we've only been successful once, haven't we?
I think so, yeah.
But great occasion today. Amazing to see 15,000 county fans at Wembley. Fair play to Carlisle. They brought a good number, and both sets of fans were really good on the day, I thought. But to lose on penalties, being 1-0 up, conceding in the 84th, it was a tough drive home.
Their goalkeeper's very big on top.
He was, and what he was doing when he was coming up, trying to intimidate. To be fair, if that had been our keeper, I'd have been happy with. But he was huge, wasn't he?
Yes.
He must be like 6'6".
Yeah, I would have thought Carlisle were there for the taking.
I'd agree, and I thought I don't know what you thought. I thought the first half, I thought we played well. We looked in control of the game, and we were the one asking the questions. And then the second half, it became a bit more balanced out. And they're always tight, those games, aren't they? The playoff final, any final is always there's a lot of nerves that for especially the guys playing. Some of them will have been in playoff finals before, but I suppose it's the pinnacle of a footballer's career, in particular, maybe lower down the leagues, to play in front of your crowd at Wembley.
It would have been nice for us to have got a second promotion on the bounce.
Yeah, I think back to back, that was the target. That's what we were going for, and we were one penalty kick away from it.
It's a cruel game.
It is, but I always think you can't have the highs without the lows. Right? The reason the highs are so high is because you know the disappointment at the lows.
Yeah, being
It
there
hurt so
felt
much.
awful for
Yeah.
Nidal because he's obviously a young player. He's missed that. It's not his fault. He's been quality all season.
Young lad had,
Yeah.
you know, had the guts to step
Exactly,
up
exactly.
and take
It's
that. And
admirable.
that's you know, that's at 23 years. That's a lot of pressure, isn't it? To take that. And I think all the penalties were good. To be fair, it's, you know, because you get some shootouts where the poor penalties, a lot of people missing. You know, they were really solid penalties. It was just
It was a very
yeah,
high quality game all the way.
Yeah,
When
it was, yeah.
tight.
yeah.
Right, so is it Louise?
Right. How do you think Dave Challoner is doing in his job as the manager?
I think he's been really pleased since he's come in. Both, to be honest, both Dave as a person, really, really sound, down to earth guy. When he came in, I think we were 12th or 13th in the league in November. He came in, without. We added one or two players, but not really. He turned the team round, the existing team that he had. He got us playing the type of football that the fans wanted. It was really, certainly in the National League, it was really swashbuckling stuff, wasn't it? It was like really direct. And then he went on 2 10-game win streaks, got us promoted. To go from 12th to win the league, it just shows the sort of level of consistency that that he delivered. And then last year, aside from aside from a poor start, really, again, good level of consistency. Took us all the way to Wembley, and I've got no doubt this year he's going to take us up.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully,
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah.
He's got a good understanding of the club and the community, though, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Ex-player and that, and he's.
I think you can see it, and he is.
Yeah, you can tell he cares a lot about the club.
He cares about the club, and he's he's a football guy. His family come and watch every game. And you can tell that they're good people, and he's a good fit. He's a good fit for the football club, and as we've just extended his contract now. There was another club interested in him actually over the last few weeks, which is naturally going to happen. And we've now secured him. Obviously, we're supporting him in the transfer market, and he's going to do the job for us this year.
It's ironic that Dave Challoner, who took
If it was like
Hartlepool United into the league, has now themselves been relegated back to the league to the National League, isn't it? And Dave Challoner brought us up into League Two.
It's like the paths of
Everything happens for a reason.
Everything happens.
It's an irony.
their chairman still doesn't like me for stealing his manager.
Getting all the exclusives there. This is great. Bit of footy goss.
yeah, but Chris, he was like famous for his long throw in front of his house.
Yeah, it was famous for
Yeah.
his long throw.
He had it was him and Rory Delap, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They had the longest throws.
Yeah, Dave Challoner, he used to play for Tranmere Rovers.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's saying his shoulders are gone now from all those long throws. So yeah, he's not got the power in them anymore. But yeah.
Right, is it Nick?
Okay, yeah. What are your hopes for next season?
It's a good question and an easy one to answer. Yeah, we want to get promoted. I think, and sort of the goal is automatic. The intention is to win the league, but it is a difficult league, and and it's a long season. Let's see where we got on with that. But automatic promotion absolutely is the goal. The playoffs, as we saw, it's a lottery. Basically, you don't really want to end up in the playoffs because of the risks involved that we saw this year. I think when you're just trying to get in the playoffs, that's when you want to be in the playoffs. When you're competing for automatic, you don't want to be dropping down. So I think as a management team and from the football side, we're all extremely confident going into this year. We've got consistency and continuity in the manager. the majority of the team have been playing together for almost 2 seasons for those. Because you get a lot of teams where there's quite a lot of transition and movement in the summer, and sort of I feel like we're just adding one or two players into positions that we're keen to strengthen or upgrade. So we're extremely confident.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Amazing.
Okay then. Sarah?
Is there anything you would like to ask us?
Well, I suppose how long is this facility been going for? Is it?
Well, Sarah, you've been here in this building for about 11 years doing radio, haven't you? It's not always been at this building though, has it?
No.
How long's this building been around about?
Before my time.
Before.
I was here 4 years and it was a good few years before.
So like, about 7-8 years it's been here? Yeah, it's been, obviously you guys know COVID took a bit of a standstill to the project, didn't it? You all had to be split up, you couldn't sit near each other. So it's only recently we've started getting these interviews done again, stuff like that. I think it's been nearly a year since we first started doing interviews again there where I started.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been tough on it, but project's exactly where it needs to be now.
Yeah.
It's great to, like you say, I think creating communities like this it's incredible. Like I said, this is the first time I suppose I've been aware of you guys, and it's great to see what you're doing, and the support that it provides to everyone. It's incredible.
So thank you for coming in and that.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to ask, or is there anything else you guys?
Anything else I'd like to ask? For those people who cannot get to Wesley Park or for the away games, I was disappointed to hear that the radio that broadcast Stockport County matches wasn't being broadcast to people who want to listen to the games on the radio.
Yes. So there was an EFL requirement for that. So they, due to the sort of the streaming agreement with the EFL as we went up into the league, they could no longer broadcast it through because we used to be with Imagine, didn't we? And then it moved to Strawberry Radio.
Yeah.
So I think there was an option that you could stream the audio, but it was a paid service.
I was disappointed. I was looking forward to listening to them on the radio, but I just couldn't. I was just terribly disappointed. Is there any plans in the pipeline to bring it back to people who want to listen to County on the radio?
What we could maybe look to do, I think there's restrictions in terms of actually broadcast it through the radio because it has to go through the streaming platform that they use. But what we could look to do is see whether we can, offering out. I'm pretty sure we can provide free streaming services.
Yeah, because I like the commentator on.
Yeah, John Kieran. Yeah, he's a good guy, isn't he?
Yeah, I listen to. He knows his stuff.
Yeah.
Of course, you have to be with a football commentator.
Absolutely.
But yeah, leave that with me. Let me see if there's something we can arrange, because you can listen to the audio. I do know that, but I think they brought it in as a paid service because of these streaming rights there with the football league after we got promoted.
Because also not a lot of people can go out, say, on a Tuesday or a Friday to the matches, to the ground, and they'd like to listen to it on the radio.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's been denied them.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good point. Let me have a look into see what we could potentially provide. But I think it wouldn't be on the radio; it'd be through the streaming service. But it can be fairly straightforward to set up.
But not a lot of people do have a streaming service.
So you could just do it on your phone. Yeah, but I get your point. It's not as easy accessible as the radio, right?
Yeah. Is anyone else or no? We all feel okay?
Yeah.
Right, Chris, want to give the outro then, mate?
Yes. Thank you for coming in and speaking to us today, and we all really appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Excellent.